Malang TV, welcome to another fire episode of the Mobile School Podcast. Remember, don't like, don't share, don't subscribe. Nobody cares, man. Nobody cares about these things like algorithms. The reason I say nobody cares about algorithms is that tech companies have figured out that, oh, we are addicted to their shit now, their product, their service. So we need them more than they need us. And they are showing us by funding wars. You might think, dog, stop. What are you talking about? Let me explain it to you, man. Like, it's very easy. So during the Stop SARS in Nigeria, where the police were being accused of being like brutal to civilians, and like a lot of Nigerians were saying, yo, being young in Nigeria has become difficult. If you have an iPhone, you are accused of being a Yahoo boy. If you have like good things, you have to pay for a bribe. Like, it's a mess in Nigeria. The police are as bad as the criminals there. So that's not the topic. The topic is the CEO then of Twitter was Jack Dorsey. And this idiot with his beard was busy tweeting like, it's time for Nigerians to stand up. And he would like tell them where to donate money. He would like get people around the world. Like, you know how many people that guy has? He has millions of followers on Twitter. And it was like, if you want to help people in Nigeria to fight their government and SARS, the disbandment of like the police, put money into this account, blah. We need to stop them. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, hey, Njebe, who the fuck are you, Jack Dorsey? Who are you to say put money into this account so people who are protesting can have more resources to fight the government? That's a civil war. And then what did the president do? The president of Nigeria, a piece of shit by the way, who keeps going to London to go fucking get his medical help because he's dying and old and doesn't want to quit, when he could be spending that money building fucking hospitals. But what he did was he banned Twitter. I don't want to digress. He banned Twitter for that. And for me, it was surprising that, a lot of people didn't even realize that Jack Dorsey was about to fund a civil war in Nigeria. That motherfucker went there a few times and some Nigerians lied to him, told him like, oh no, Nigeria is the epicenter of Bitcoin. So since he's been like on that Bitcoin shit, he believed it and he loves tweeting about it. Like, oh, people are using more Bitcoin in Nigeria. I'm like, dog, they only have electricity for 2 hours a day. The fuck are you talking about? Do you know how long it takes to mine one fucking Bitcoin? Shut up and get out of here. And then I let it go. I went on a serious tour with him. Obviously, he didn't respond. It's okay. The Chinese government hasn't responded to me anyway. I've been telling them they need to apologize for COVID, but let me not even say COVID before they're like, oh, this goes against our community guidelines. And here we go. Tech is funding civil wars because what they've done is they've gotten us addicted to social media. And now that they control everything that we see, they are able to make decisions that go against their own community guidelines. For instance, Instagram just decided like, okay, we do not promote violence on our app, except if you are Ukrainian or you are anybody else, you are allowed to say death to the Russian government, death to Putin, death to the people of Russia. But the people all over the world cannot say death to Ukrainians. Of course, you don't want to say that because they are the one being invaded. But it's just a weird thing where you realize like, oh, now that you're going to be online on your Facebook, on your Instagram, you're going to see a lot of content coming at you that supports Ukraine. Okay, if you don't believe me, when was the last time you saw somebody from Russia being interviewed explaining the situation? They don't even fucking post like real shit, dog. Like a few weeks ago when this whole war started, there was that whole voice note that was left and this guy was like, oh, fuck Russia, your airspace, da da da. And then the news said, oh, Russia then bombed them. And then we found out like that whole thing was not true. So there's a lot of misinformation. Even today, Russia took out a statement. Even China took out a statement actually saying there's this rumor saying that Russia asked us for planes. No, that's not true. That's Western misinformation. But that's the information that's being spread out by social media companies. Like, you listen to Americans speak about this war and you're like, oh my fucking word, you bunch of bastards. The same people who every week go on Facebook and complain about Facebook and how they are responsible for what happened in January 6th are the same people who are now saying, oh, social media should be used to help remove Russia and to block everybody's assets, Russian oligarchs. I don't care about those motherfuckers. I know they're racist as fuck. But that's not also the reason for me to not support Ukraine because they have Nazis. I just feel like people being moved from their livelihood and have to travel to other countries. They are lucky they are white, so a lot of countries are opening their borders for them. Unlike 2015 when they're like, no, you guys are all criminals, don't come here. You brown people are here to bring trouble. Our culture is different. That's fine. Learning experience. That whole thing should teach us as black people, like, we all live with God. You see how white people are reacting to this war? They're like, oh shit, that could be us. White people see all these images all the time. People in Libya, black people in Libya are fucking being turned into slaves. Brown people in Ethiopia and the Tigray, they are being killed, they are traveling, there's documentaries. But white people cannot relate because they see the color of the skin of those people first. But as soon as they saw Ukrainians with blood, buildings being burned, they're like, oh, this is close to home, so we need to stand up together. I applaud them for that. They keep showing us that, hey, our people with the same skin color come first. But I don't want to digress too much. This is not about race. This is about the ability of companies deciding that they're going to fund a war. Look at Airbnb. Right now, you can book an Airbnb in Ukraine, knowing you're not going to go there, but you're sending money to people in Ukraine. So you're supporting them, whatever they need. If they need money to buy like weapons, if they need money to build their Molotov cocktails, you can send them money. How the fuck is Airbnb getting involved in that shit? Like, why are you allowing people all over the world to fund like this war? Like, let this war be a war amongst these two countries. Let NATO be involved. But for tech companies to get involved, it's weird. And also, you need to understand, these tech companies that are funding this war indirectly and directly, they're run by hipsters who've never seen blood. The last time they probably saw it was when they were cutting like avos and they cut their fingers. But stop giving these tech companies too much power. And you realize this is something China noticed like very quickly. They remove celebrities. If you have a lot of following, they tell you don't ever fucking tweet about politics, don't ever tweet. If you love gaming, don't play for this long, because they realize like all this technology and it's old, and they decided, oh, we're gonna own this technology. Everything has to be nationalized. Gaming. If you wanna be a company in China that wants to create another Twitter like the one they do or Baidu, we need to make sure that you understand the mission of the country. We cannot have people just running their mouths on social media, except me. I can run my mouth. But the point is, we have a situation where all these companies are pulling out of Russia. McDonald's, they're all pulling out. And then the idea that we're punishing Russian oligarchs. No, you're not. Deep down, you know you're not punishing Russian oligarchs. You know, like, all this is going to affect the Russian people, but you don't care. Do you know why you don't care? It's not because you're a heartless piece of shit. No. Because you are programmed by the algorithms. They keep showing you Putin all tough, looking like a fucking crazy madman. They have all these people on CNN talking crazy about Putin. They have all these videos of people in Ukraine dying and being bombed. And for you, your mind starts thinking, oh, I should take the side of the person that's being attacked. But first of all, you didn't even give a fuck about the fucking president of Ukraine when he was a magician before he became the president. Another thing you need to realize, As soon as your president has to be on the front line, there's something fucking wrong with your country. The fact that the president is busy there with guns and he's like, oh, we're gonna fight this country. Yeah, this is not a movie, dog. If you guys think Russia is struggling, they're doing the world a favor. I'm repeating this. I said this on that last podcast that didn't go viral. But you need to understand the people who are now being in control of the narrative are tech companies. Tech companies are run by like these white hipsters in San Francisco who are complaining about fucking rye bread not being available. They don't care about petrol prices. Fuck did you guys think was gonna happen? War brings a lot of suffering. So if you complaining about food prices, let me explain something to you, and I know you know this already. If petrol goes up, the company that makes petrol is gonna put that surge on the people who drive cars. So when they sell petrol for like let's say $2, if they have to sell it for $3, the truck is going to say, okay, I transport bread to this place. I need to add my $2, the $1 that was taken on these people. The people who are selling bread are like, I'm not gonna take the loss. I'm gonna put it on the person who needs it the most, that person who has like 3 family members. So the petrol price increase will always affect the poorest of the poor. So poor people all over the world, stop giving too much power to these tech companies. You need to stop letting them brainwash you. Like we're being brainwashed. Like now they're not even hiding it. What type of nonsense is that? Like, oh no, we're not gonna allow this tech company that employs like 500 people in this country to operate anymore. We're closing that bank. We're closing this. Like, you putting a person who had no options against the wall. Remember, dog, at the end of the day, if you give a man no option, you leave him no choice. This is not a podcast. I'm not a podcaster. Not at all. I'm an independent TED talker. Abash.